What is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with a quick video and walkthrough in regards to the Famine Scourge that's happening right now. As you can see, time recording, we still have 4 days, so this is the last undertaking of how this Scourge event is run. So they've commented and already confirmed that going forward, the Scourge will return. It's just a matter of how this Scourge is going to be kind of shaped up in terms of the structure. These rewards are the last time we'll be seeing this instance. Whether or not there's going to be more shards or less shards of Rogue being available in the future, that remains to be seen, guys. So just a quick reminder as well, there's a couple of things, right? My milestone is a little different because this is the one relating to folks that have already achieved max stars for Rogue. But if you're going through the regular one and you haven't maxed her out, you'll likely see a different kind of milestone where the shards are awarded based on the points and as well on the leaderboard's ranking. I believe this ranking here, you'll be able to see different shards depending on how many you have of her and as well where you kind of rank in the overall scheme. So this format is for sure changing. So in this video, I want to showcase for you guys at least the best teams and Scourges to utilize, so that way you can boost your points. And as well, I only got through this in about 15-20 minutes. I was able to hit the 1.3, and I didn't finish it yet just because I wanted to show you each of the nodes as well as the teams that I utilize, so that way you can get a sense, and as well for the Scourges that you should be utilizing. So let's backtrack here. So before we get into the nodes in terms of the teams I use, guys, let me just hit the little top left here for the Scourge details. So how I got through this was I was just basically trying to hit the 1.5 million run score, difficulty A. Now keep in mind, if you have much smaller teams and lower level, obviously team levels, you can lower the difficulty so that way it matches up to your best roster on your side, and as well what's challenging for you but at the same time still completable, right? These are the best points that I think personally help out to assist the points and still make it pretty fair play and completable, as opposed to having every Scourge activated and being impossible to complete. So these add some pretty notable points. I'm going to start at the bottom just because of the fact that these ones add some more notable points, and as well these are the Scourges that are essentially going to be making a difference in your overall run score. And again, guys, make sure you moderate and obviously adjust the difficulty based on where your team is at, as that's going to maximize the number of shards that you can get for Rogue. So I got Stay Down. This one removes the revive once from character. Not a big deal. This is really only impacts Dormammu if you have him unlocked. We got Vile Resurgence, which is on enemy turn, they gain offense up. Honestly, not a big deal. It gives a lot of points in being able to utilize. We have the Power Siphon 2, enemies gaining 20% drain. Power Fatigue 2, player character ultimate abilities cost 1 more ability energy. This one actually didn't impact me as much as I thought it would, and it gives you a lot of points, so that's why I definitely recommend it. We got player character healing is reduced by 20%. To be honest, we don't really utilize a lot of healing in this Scourge specifically. I think it's way easier than Morgan Le Fay's Pestilence Scourge, so this one was a no-brainer just to get some pretty notable Scourge points there. We got Poison Energy too, so when a player character gains ability energy, apply defense down for +1 per ability energy gain. The reason I use this is because there's actually not many characters that we use that generate energy for this Scourge, so that's why it's a huge add there. We got Devil's Bargain too. When a player character gains ability energy, they also gain defense down, so it's kind of similar to the the Poison Energy below it, just adding defense down for energy gain. And then lastly, the enemies gaining 5% drain, which is no different from the Power Siphon 2. Giving us a Scourge total of 129 points. And the reason I chose difficulty 8 was so that, again, I can hit the 1.5 million upon the completion of this last node, but I didn't do it just so that way I can show you guys the attack history here, starting all the way from nodes 1. The teams I've utilized, and these are teams I recommend right now, guys, because they are the most up to date, and I was being mindful of the meta. And as well, if you're newer to the game or a mid-game player and you don't have all these end-game characters unlocked, I at least tried to strategize and choose some of the best characters in terms of you'll likely have access to. So first and foremost, guys, City node. So for this first node, the first attack doesn't really matter. I actually just threw in a random plug team, and again, it can be weaker, but you kind of want some tankier guys such as Dr. Octopus in the first wave, it doesn't really matter what they do. They're initially just there to take the brunt of the damage, and then you can hit auto, but they're essentially there just to soak up damage for that initial burst. Follow that up here. I do have a very strong follow-up team. So, Squirrel Girl, Shang-Chi, Cloak and Dagger, and Ghost Spider. Very, very good characters. A lot of them actually very viable in Dark Dimensions as well. So that's why I see the value there. You're also going to need Squirrel Girl because of the fact that she's actually part of the Young Avengers. And more on that later in Notes 5. But you need her because of the Young Avengers. And they're pretty much the only team that can be really maximizing in the bottleneck here of the Famine Scourge. No issues whatsoever. A great synergistic team. As you're leveling near the, as you're finishing up and wrapping up near the end of this node, make sure you're saving up some cooldowns and energy for the next node, because the next node as well is pretty consistent strategy. We have a similar pattern here. Threw in another hodgepodge of mixed characters here. They didn't do anything, as you can see with the damage. So Iron Fist, Luke Cage. We have Jessica Jones. We have obviously the rest of the Heroes for Hire team there, and they're basically just soaking up damage, and we follow that up here with the same team, right? Shang-Chi, Squirrel Girl, Cloak Dagger, and Ghost Spider, really cleaning things up. So the most important thing is the setup, and that's why you have to have basically a hodgepodge of characters just to throw in to soak up damage, and then you have that cleanup crew. No issues whatsoever in the cleanup. Notes 3. So, historically in the past for mutants, this has definitely been one of the harder ones in terms of the past. But now, we got access to Unlimited X-Men, and we have access to Death Seed, and which makes it an absolute joke. When they designed Famine Scourge, they never anticipated such a powerful mutant team to come about later on, being Death Seed. So, the best in class, the absolute must-have is if you have Death Seed for these mutant nodes, you can pretty much auto both the Notes 3 and Notes 4. It's actually an absolute joke just to be able to go through it. Now, if you don't have this team, these 5 characters, you're going to have to just utilize a mixture. Unlimited X-Men can still get the job done. And then those are the 2 teams I would recommend, especially from my my previous images in terms of what the best strategy for each node and Scourge is that those 2 teams are the most viable. I wouldn't recommend building up Uncanny or Astonishing just because they're out of the meta and they don't really have a place in the game. So I would focus on Death Seed or Unlimited X-Men. They'll get the job done. If you don't have those 2 teams, then I would utilize aspects or mixtures of the 2. So if you have like a hybrid combination, that would still be much better because you're getting value in the end game, especially for these mutant teams. So we got Death Seed completely cleaning up easily, and then same thing with Nodes 4. Super easy. I just autoed both nodes. It's impressive how this team operates even outside of raids, and they have great synergy with each other. Next up, we got the big Node 5 here. Yeah, even despite the rework, the A-Force, Inhumans, honestly, they just can't do anything to these nodes. They're just not well built and they don't have good value outside of the Scourge settings anyways. And the Young Avengers are still the best in-class team. So as you can see, kind of similar strategy to my Nodes 1, Nodes 2. I threw in a sponge team just to soak up that initial burst, and then follow that up with my Young Avengers to clean up. So it was super easy just because of synergy. And again, keep in mind, my team is powerful, but you can scale this down based on the difficulty you have. They're the only team that can get the job done, just given the burst that we have in this node. And I think this is probably going to be the key bottleneck for most players going through it. But just as reference, Young Avengers are still the best answer for this node specifically, and as well as Node 10. Node 6, Villains. Super easy, guys. So I tried to adjust this accordingly, just because I know a lot of players likely won't have Dormammu, Apocalypse. Doctor Doom is even farther away if you're in the mid game, and you still have to defeat Dark Dimension 4 as well for that. But I think yeah, absolutely huge, guys. I think Omega Red, Lady Deathstrike, great synergies with each other, good value because they can be utilized in war. A very powerful all-rounder team. And then we got 3 aspects of Darkhold. We got Agatha Harkness, Morgan Le Fay, and Doctor Strange Heartless. Those 5 characters easily get the job done. Morgan Le Fay, hopefully you guys were able to capitalize on the last Scourge to unlock her. Just a great character. And I mean, easily top 5, top 10 character in the game, just given her kit. And as well as being needed for Apocalypse. So everyone's going to likely have her built up. And then now that Agatha is actually farmable, and Heartless has been farmable for quite some time, these are all characters that you can should hopefully be able to get access to and make short work of these nodes. Villains, Node 7 here, the same thing, right? Exact same team, nothing crazy here, and you can utilize the same strategy. But there's no initial burst, which means we don't need to actually utilize any sacks, which is great. Mission 8. So Cosmic Mystic, there's only so many characters you can utilize, and I was fortunately able to get access to Val to actually test a Val out for these nodes, and it was nice. So Death Pool combination with Eternals, Doctor Strange Heartless once again being leveraged from the previous node, and then Val cleaning things up. So that was super easy. If you don't have Val, I mean, there's still some really good characters here like Hela, Silver Surfer that aren't in that mix, but I mean, still great characters. Loki has regained some ground because of the fact that it's rework, so he's a great addition as well. And then last but not least, guys, Mission 9. I did notice there was quite a wave of damage in the beginning, so I just kind of threw in, again, some random guys. Hela, Thor, Heimdall, Loki, and Mighty Thor. I mean, they didn't do much, to be honest. They were really there just to soak up damage. So I threw in my heaviest guys in terms of soaking as much as they could. And then same cleanup team. Only difference is I had Silver Surfer in my attack too, just because he can have an ability block. But I mean, you can still get the job done if you just need an AoE or damage. I mean, otherwise, that still got the job done. Lastly, guys, I haven't wrapped up here with Young Avengers, but I mean, at this point, if you're able to hit this high, you likely would be in a great position. Keep in mind too, you know, completing 9 nodes, if you're able to get past node 5, that's really the big bottleneck, because getting through node 5 allows access for you to have an attempts at the node 6 all the way to 9. If you can't finish nodes 10, it's not the end of the world. However, Young Avengers is the answer for this one as well. So just keep that in mind, guys. Hopefully this helps you visualize in terms of the best Scourges, the teams that are now updated. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Good luck. We still have a few days before this last, you know, leaderboard method through unlocking Rogue is revised in the future. Thank you as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.